going on, fellas? I'm Billy. How many of you guys have been here before? How many of you guys have been to a pitching or any sort of baseball clinic before? Okay. All right, cool. The one thing I ask for a clinic like this is, what's up, Adrian? How are you? Is if we tell you something to try to make the adjustment. You know, it might not be comfortable at first. Can you shut those doors, Sam? It might not be comfortable at first because it's something different that you're going to be working on, right? But if you can try to make the adjustment and be coachable, that's the number one thing that I think that I look for as a coach is for a player to be coachable. So whether you have the best skill in the world, you throw 90, or you're not as skilled and you're working your way up. Either way is fine, as long as you're coachable, able to make adjustments, making eye contact, saying yes, coach, being respectful. These are all really important parts of being a good baseball player. So a little bit about me. I went to Central Dauphin High School, pitched at Kutztown University, and then went to pitch 3 years of professional independent baseball. And now I coach for the Mid-State Mavericks travel organization, and then run my company, Masterful Mechanics Baseball, out of here. We do classes and camps and lessons. So the main thing I want to talk about before we get started is our mentality when we're on the mound. And this works for a catcher too. This goes both ways. So how many of you guys are just pitchers? Well, like just pitchers and not a catcher.
Yeah, no, not pitchers and position players, just like pitchers.
All right, how many people catch? Pitcher and catcher. Okay, so you guys will throw first. When we do bullpens, you pitch first, so then afterwards you can get geared up and catch. Make sense? All right. So number one for me is when I got out to the yard, the field for that day when I was pitching. If I was grateful to be there and happy that I was pitching, I tended to have a better outing than if I was getting there and I was like, oh shit, I gotta pitch today. My arm's kind of hurting, I'm nervous. We're facing a really good team. These negative thoughts before a game can destroy us. So if we go in there happy that we're able to pitch, right? Happy that we're healthy enough to play baseball in the first place. Happy that we got good teammates, and it's your turn to shine. You're the starting pitcher. You're the relief pitcher. You're the starting catcher. Being grateful to be out there can really help positively impact your performance. So the next thing is attacking hitters. So I wanted to look up the stat for first pitch strikes. How likely you are to get an out if you have a first pitch strike, but I know it's a crazy stat. It's like...
Did you find it?
No, I didn't look it up. I forgot. But it's something crazy where it's like if you throw a first pitch strike, you're 60 or 70% more likely to get an out. So that's a wild number, right? 60 or 70%. So with this, we want to attack hitters, right? Even if it's a number 3 or 4 guy, I don't want you to pitch around him and try to throw a ball, try to paint the edge on the first one, man. Challenge the guy, right? Good hitters bat 300, right? 1 for 3, 3 for 10. So if we're able to challenge them, they're definitely not going to get a hit every single time. And for me as a coach, I'd rather you give up a double on the first pitch to a guy than throw a first pitch ball and then get behind him to count 3-1 and then he hits a double. Or you walk him on 4 pitches. I'd much rather have him hit the ball, make him earn it. So, I always want you to think, be in attack mode when you're on the mound. Attack guys and, go after people. Samuel.
344, batting average 1-0 count. 0-1 count is 157.
Is this with a 300 hitter? You take a 300 hitter and make him 0-1, he's then 157?
This is tons of hitters from 2015 to 2017.
Okay. So I was going to say, I don't know how much it's changed in 20 years, 15 years when I learned it, but if you take a 300 hitter and an 0-0 count, get him to 0-1, he becomes like a 235 hitter, is what I had one of my travel coaches tell me one time. So you take a guy that's 300, take him down to 235, that's an 0-1 count. Then 0-2, he's into the 100s. So it's much more, setting yourself up for more success by throwing that first pitch strike is what we're getting at.
I guess everyone's batting average is lower in professional baseball, so that's why. But this trickles down to everything, college, high school, travel ball. That first pitch strike is so important. And then if we do throw a ball or give up a hit or walk a guy, you know, what's the most important step moving forward after that? After something, you know, bad or something that we didn't want to happen happens.
It's the next pitch.
Very good. Did I tell you that?
No.
You're the man. I had that written down right here. Next pitch mentality. Very good. So I use the acronym TNP, the next pitch. TNP, the next pitch. Right? The next pitch is the only one that you can get an out on, right? It's the only one that you can throw a strike with. If we're worried about the last pitch, which I have done, you know, a lot throughout my career, where, you know, I'd give up a hit or walk a guy, and I'd be all pissed off walking around the mound, you know, kicking dirt and shit. And, you know, I get back on the mound, face the next guy, still pissed off, try to overthrow because I'm mad, throw one right down the dick, and, you know, give up a home run. Because as you get older and as you get better and face better competition, you know, hitters don't miss these mistake pitches. So if you make a mistake down the middle, it's going to get hit as you get older into high school, you know, and even these better travel teams. So focusing on that next pitch is the only one that's going to help us move the game forward, and it's the only one that's going to help our team win. The only other thing I have is our relationship to the catcher as a pitcher. Again, we have to be grateful and thankful for our catcher. Right? After you throw a bullpen, make sure you're shaking his hand. Thank you. Good job. You know, without your catcher, pitchers, you know, we're nothing. Right? With a shitty catcher, it's hard to throw to a bad catcher. I don't know if you guys have done that, but I have, and it's hard. But throwing to a good catcher is a lot of fun, and it makes you a better pitcher. So make sure you have a good relationship with your catcher. It's very important. All right, Crimmel. All you big dog.
Yeah, so well, first I'll introduce myself. I see a couple familiar faces in here. One around me. My name's Kevin. I thought I saw another one, but he must have been in the class. My name's Kevin. I've been born and raised here. I went to Central Dauphin with Billy. What, I'm 2 years older than you? Yeah, 2 years older than Billy, so I was a senior and he was a sophomore. Pitched all 4 years at CD. Got a scholarship to Villanova and pitched 4 years there. I did everything at Villanova. I started relief, lefty specialist, which as a lefty, for some reason I hated. We'll talk more about that later on. Short relief, long relief, everything under the sun. Played 2 years of professional independent baseball out in Joliet, Illinois, out near Chicago. Won a championship my first year. So if I ever see any of you guys again, I'll bring my ring in and show you. So it's cool to show that off. It's not like a World Series ring or anything, but I like to think it's close. After that, got done playing and came back here, coached for the Mid-State Mavericks for 7 years, everywhere from 11U up to the showcase team for 18U. And for the last 12 years, I've been doing private pitching sessions in here at Twin Ponds in the evenings. So all over the state have come, well, mid-state have come to see me from Pottstown down to Chambersburg and everywhere in between. So I've seen a lot of guys over the years, both Little League, high school. I have some college guys that will come back and do lessons when things aren't going great. But piggyback on what Billy said with the catcher, all right, we'll start there. My best friend to this day was my catcher from Villanova. We still talk. You have to respect each other and you have to get to know your catcher, all right? You guys should know each other inside and out. Now, you're gonna have guys along the way in your career that you don't see eye to eye with, but like Billy said, if you have a relationship with your catcher, you respect him, he respects you, he knows what pitch you wanna throw, in what situation, it makes the game go so much smoother, okay? Both on and off the field, try to have that relationship with your catcher. All right, another thing to piggyback on, mentality. I like that TNP that Billy said, the next pitch. The next pitch is the only thing you can control, okay? So a big part of what I do out there with you young guys when you come to see me one-on-one is I see a lot of you guys anywhere from 10 to even to 18 that will throw a pitch and the next thing they do, once it's called a ball or it gets hit in the gap, is this. What has that done to you? Has that made you better and more prepared for the next pitch? What's it done?
Put you down.
Puts you down, right? So now you have that negative mentality and that only snowballs, okay? Control what you can control, and that's like Billy said, the next pitch, okay? Body language is key, all right? If you show your cards to that hitter, especially as you guys get older, and they get better as you get better, they will eat you alive once they see that negative mentality on the mound, okay? So I'm a big proponent of that. I never want to see anybody throwing a glove, kicking dirt, cussing, getting upset. Errors happen, right? What good does it do if you yell at your second baseman for letting one go between his legs? Does it do you or your team any good? Nothing, right? So control what you can control. Yeah, you gave up a home run. On to the next one, okay? Make sure it doesn't happen again. All right, so today, when you guys get to my station, I'm a big fan of a lot of like baseball and pitching specific exercises, strengthening the small muscles in the shoulder and the scapula, and also stretches. That'll play a big part, especially for you young guys that are starting to develop into young men. All right, you got to catch that wave early with some of these things, so you don't fall behind. Okay, we'll work on first pitch strikes. That's a big proponent of this, and then also proper throwing mechanics to keep you guys safe from injury. All right, there's a lot of guys that come through here that have either been hurt or are risking getting hurt by the way they throw, how they throw, how often they throw, and how much they throw. All right, so we'll talk about that a little bit too, about back-to-back days throwing, long toss properly, things like that, just overall general arm care. Okay, any questions for me? Nothing? Talkative crowd today, I like that. We'll give them yours.
You want to talk to him?